What's up, guys? Coach John Lucas here. Today what we're going to do is take a look at the U.S. Collegiate National Championships and take a look at the routines GymACT did and talk a little bit about why GymACT sent the gymnasts that they did. So first off, the gymnasts that GymACT sent, they sent two teams because that's kind of how the restrictions were this year, where they wanted to limit the participants at Navy just to keep everything a little safer because of COVID still. So anyway, what GymACT chose to do, instead of sending their top two teams to compete at that meet, was to send their all-stars from the East and their all-stars from the West. That way every team had an opportunity to qualify. The way they qualified this year was through the Fantasy Gymnastics League. That's how they ranked their gymnasts. So what we're going to do today is look at the routines, or at least parts of the routines, because if you want to get full coverage of the routines, you've got to go to Flip Now. It's an app put out by USA Gymnastics. They'll charge you some small fee, and then you can watch all the routines there. But we were able to record, GymACT was able to record some of their own, and today we're going to look at just some highlights from those. And so anyway, let's get into it. First thing we're going to look at is the East. Team East started off on high bar. So this first routine parts are going to be from Zach Raymond. And East, high bar, here we go. So nice little mount over the bar. And then here comes, should be the first release coming up. Yeah, Tkachev, here it is. Straddled, right on the money. A little bit of bent arms coming out of that, so not the cleanest. But overall, this was the cleanest routine of the day for the East. Half stuck. Yes, they did. Okay, that was Zach Raymond. He scored an 11.8. Like I said, he had the top execution for the East. Now we're going to take a look at Jacob Biller. Jacob had a slightly more difficult routine, just by 1/10. So 13.4 start value for him. There's a Tkachev. Not bad. Fairly clean coming out of it. That was... He got to get it. You have to get your in bar, so he's got to do something in bar, but that was not the cleanest. And then dismount, that got cut off. That just was as much of the video as they showed us. There's a Yamawaki to mount. This guy is from Minnesota, representing the Golden Gophers. This is Kellen Ryan. He had the most difficult high bar routine on the day. That Coleman that you saw just seconds ago, you know, pretty sloppy coming out of it, but then the Kovacs was done pretty well. And then not too bad on the dismount, little step, but overall he probably will look to clean up that routine. Like I said, he had the highest start value of anyone in GymACT that was competing at this meet. On high bar. Now we're looking at Levi. Oh, and he missed his Tkachev, so he's going to lose a little bit of start value there, plus he took a fall. Overall, on average, the trouble on high bar for the East was execution. They had lower average difficulty than the West as well, but they really got hammered. At least a point average of execution lower than the West on their first event. So the West, they started things off on rings, which we'll get to see after this routine by David Dortmund. There he goes, mounts with the stock Yamawaki. It's kind of pretty typical for guys to mount with that skill. Throws in the Tkachev. There's that form we've been seeing from this team all day, and it's kind of, except for that quas. That quas was really nice. Now, one of the things that I don't know if this played a factor, but it's kind of difficult to start off on high bar, in my opinion. I feel like it's much easier to start off on a different event. So yeah, they had to start on high bar. Now we're back to the beginning, so let's go ahead and cut that. What we're going to do next is take a look at the first event for the West. That was rings. So here we go, taking a look at rings. Alright, rings, this first gymnast that we have a routine of is Oscar Hemmert. Andrew Lehman competed first, but we don't have any routine from him. Nice pike to tuck. Oh, it's a front double pike. I love that combination in sequence. It's so cool to do. Oscar had a 4-1 start value with 8-2 average execution and a 12-3 final score. Not too shabby. Okay, this is Jamil Ali. He has the highest difficulty, tied for it, on rings. You can see a lot of his difficulty is built through his strength parts. And here comes the dismount. He can swing too. Okay, next we're going to look at, this is Reuven Anderson. Reuven is from Iowa, and his strength is next level. He really has flat positions. That Maltese was right in there at the bottom of the rings. His straight planche is right where it needed to be. That bounce cross with just minimal adjustments. I really loved his control. I like that to do a little chechi, get that B swing so you can do some more strength. Okay, looks like he's got a dismount left. He probably did some extra swing parts there in the middle, maybe a press, who knows. But a double layout, so didn't do as difficult of a dismount, but had tied for highest start value with Jamil due to the strength. Now we're looking at Connor Pattison as he finishes up his routine. Here comes that dismount. Nice D dismount. Okay, and we're back to the beginning. So the first two events, they left the teams kind of close. No, not close. Sorry. 5.5 points separated them after those first two events. Like I said, it was a little tough for the East starting off on high bar. High bar's hard event to score high on. And their execution was only mediocre in my opinion. I'd like to see execution in the 8s and average, which is what the West did over on rings. Was they averaged an 8.23 on rings. And then they had a higher difficulty as well, so they pulled 5.5 points ahead. Next rotation, we're going to see floor from the East. Well, there's a double front from Zach Raymond. And the floor Maltese. I like to see that, the strength parts on floor. Okay, he's probably finishing up now, just doing an easy pass to get to the other corner before the dismount. And there it is, Arabian double front. Next up, this might be Kellen Ryan. I'm not sure. Nice little combination pass. Yeah, this is Kellen Ryan. Alright, nice, pretty good dismount. So floor, not a bad event for the East. Their average execution is an 8.27, which is pretty good. Now we've got Jacob Biller. Okay, pretty good difficulty on there. Forward tumble, double full. It's a D value. Does his non-acrobatic skill. Now that's like a B press, so it's kind of a bummer to have that little wobble in the handstand. Give a 10th away out of an easy skill. Okay, he's coming up for the dismount. Half. That's a D dismount. Well done. Okay, now we're looking at Levi. Levi had pretty good execution, 8.35 on average. His final score is going to be a 12.55. The low score on floor was a 12.25. So he's not at the top of the floor scores, but he had a very capable start value. Just needed to clean things up a little bit. And there it is. Okay, now we're replaying back to the beginning. So, all right, next thing we're going to do is jump straight on over to vault. So this will be vault, and this is a Yurchenko entry. Boom, 1.5 with the stick. He's pumped. That was Cole Jans the first one, Oscar Himmert the second. Oscar scored 14.15, Cole a 14.3. Vault is really an area. This is Jackson Harrison, Yurchenko entry. And 1.5 coming off the table. Next two vaults are big Andrew Lehman. He's going to hit us with, looks like a handspring entry. Yep, so Kazumatsu, 1.5, so 2.5 twists for Andrew Lehman. That's a 14.6 final score. Another same entry for Amari Sewell, and he gets a 14.75. All right, we're going to jump straight on over to our next video. This is going to be West on parallel bars. No, pommel horse, sorry. Okay, pommel horse. Pommel horse for the West is their third rotation. And this was, I think this is Andrew. 14.5 start value, pretty good. Highest start value of the team. 11.95 final score, not the highest score on the team. 7.45 execution. This here is Zach Raymond. Ooh, and then a fall. Not what you want to see on horse. On horse, your goal is really, well, every event's to get hits, but on a horse, it sometimes can be a train wreck afterwards. But he looked like he did the right thing. He got off, rested enough, took his 30 seconds, composed himself, got up, finished with a pretty good ending to the routine. It's nice to see a little variation with the travel work. And then everyone's got to get their scissor requirement in. And nice little B on the one pommel. Flying up to handstand. He struggled a little bit with the dismount, it looked like, but he didn't stop at all. And pretty good scissor full in. Oh yeah, little flare work. Stepping outside the pommels. That's going to upgrade the value of the skills. I didn't quite complete that one. He's supposed to step back out over, and then he does the check here around, and I like it. So that's a pretty solid routine. Looked like, I want to say that was either Kellen Ryan or, yeah, probably Kellen Ryan. 14.0 start, 12.25 final score, and then this might be Jake Sawyer. So if that was Jake Sawyer, then yeah. This last one up is Jared. No, we're repeating. Okay. So. Alright, so let me just give you a quick recap of those routines. I got a little bit off. Wasn't quite following my sheet. So, the first gymnast up, Andrew, 14.5 start, 11.95 final score. The final gymnast, Jake Sawyer was the one who did all that extra flare work. And he had an 8.5 and an 8.8 execution, highest score on pommel horse from the East with a 12.95. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the next video. This is parallel bars from the East. Nope, this is the West on P-bars, of course. Yeah, sits that lapel down a little bit, and then dismounts with front full. Gets the stick. It's a C value dismount, not too difficult. This next gymnast up, this is Oscar Hemmert. It looks like Bradley Stroud, that first gymnast, had pretty good execution, average of 9.15, but not a lot of difficulty, only 13.7. Same here for Oscar Hemmert, 13.6, but with an 8.1 or an 8.2 average execution. Now we move on to Andrew Lehman. A lot of guys from UW making the P-bar lineup. Missed his double pike. Otherwise, that was a great routine up until that point. Okay, this is Jonas. Jonas is from the Arizona men's gymnastics team, I believe. A little shaky on that giant, but otherwise pretty solid. He got his hands down on that tip pelt. Didn't look like he touched his legs, and then a little off on that dismount. P-bars looked a little shaky, although their execution wasn't terrible. This final gymnast from UW stands up this nice double front. That was Xander. Alright, we're back to the top of that video. So what we're looking at next is going to be rings from the East team. This is their fourth routine, fourth event. So let's take a look at those videos. So here they go. Uprise to the Maltese, very nice. This body shape wasn't quite as nice as I'd like to see it. That Maltese we saw earlier was much better. Actually, it looks like he tried to get his shape in a little bit more on that one, but just looked gassed. Never really stopped. There's the straddle planche, a little bit of bent arms, a little bit of, putting the forearms on the straps. So overall, I would say this is good strength, pretty good routine, but he has a little bit to clean up going into nationals. Okay, that was Andrew Hyde. Next, we're going to see Alex. Boom, front uprise to the L. This is Alex has a 13.4 start value, the lowest of the team on rings, but did not have the lowest score. Ends up with a 12.15 for that routine. Alright, next routine up is going to be Kellen Ryan. Kellen has one of the higher starts. He's looking pretty clean too. Not a lot to deduct here. Getting right to those positions. Get those toes up more on that straddle L. Come on, man. Not bad on the front giant. And then just little balance checks, little bobbles here and there. But overall, they look a lot more settled down than they were on high bar as a team. Okay, now we're going to see, this is Yaroslav Owens-Bochinka. And he has the highest start value on rings in this competition for GymACT. And you can see it's the strength combined with high-valued swing elements that got him that big start value. He's got a 5.0. Double layout, dismount. He's going to end up with a 13.15 final score. Next, we're going to move on to Zachary Sipra, who comes in at a 3.8 start value-wise. But as you're seeing this routine, like those positions, that's good. Right down into the cross, nice and flat. One of the higher executors on this event. He's got a 8.6 average execution score. Actually, one gymnast on his team did better than that with an 8.75. That was Alex from earlier. So he's going to end up with a 12.4 final score. He looks happy with that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is high bar 4, rotation 4. This is high bar for the West. So we'll take a look at those routines right now. Big release move, good Tkachev work, get some in-bar in there. And then here he goes, winding up for his dismount. Laid out half and half out. Okay, that was Bradley Stroud. Now this is Oscar Himmert. Mount to the Yamawaki. Like this, does a jam. Does the inverted giant or the L grip giants. And double double. Nice job. Big Yamawaki mount. This is Hunter Burnett. Free hip. So overall, this is a lot cleaner on high bar than we were seeing the East. And average difficulty has also gone up. So on high bar, the East averaged 374, the West averaged a 4.0, West averaged a 767. So mid 7 on execution, where they averaged an 8.2. Did have a miss though. Was this Caden Peacock, I believe. That's a pretty good quast. Here comes the dismount. Stretched half-half. There's the Yamawaki. This is Amari Sewell. Layout to Tkachev. I like the locked arms on the giant out. That was really nice. And again, boom, nice locked arms. Good. That it's almost just as important. Double double. Well done. Okay, so it's almost just as important that you hit the skill after a big skill on high bar. You do the release move. You catch close, then you muscle the giant out. It causes a lot of problems because you not only start getting issues with your score on the release move, but then it trickles into maybe the event or the next skill, and it costs you even more. All right, so let's go and take a look. We got 2 more events. Hopefully, I'll be able to record them on this pass. Okay, so vault should go pretty quick. There we go. Well, we're watching floor. Alright, bear with me, guys. So we're going to watch the East on vault. There they are. Okay, he got a Yurchenko entry. Comes off with a layout full. Not bad. It's Casey Cassara. Or I believe that was a double full. Yeah, then that was the double full. No, that was just a layout full. Then there's a 1.5 from David Dortman. Next is Kellen Ryan. Suk entry, 2.5 coming off. Next will be Jacob Biller. Jacob Biller did a Yurchenko entry and layout full. And then Yorslav Pachinka. Oh, with the double front right to his butt though. Okay, and that's vault. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is floor from the West. Let's jump right into that. Nice and clean, not really flashy, not a lot of super high scoring skills here, but he's building his difficulty just slowly, pass by pass. It's got a D-dismount, nice little hop, very clean overall. That was Xander Agate, I think. 14-3 start. 8.7 average execution with a 13.0 final score. Nice 2.5 with a stick. Oh my goodness, this is looking clean. Yeah, looking really clean. Has pretty good difficulty on here. Yeah, this is Cole Jans. He's got a 4.4 start value. And has so far the highest execution. That was definitely the highest execution. Now this is Jamil Ali. Starts things off with a fall. But he had a pretty high start value, 4.7. Cole Jans, that gymnast who went before him, average of 9.15, 13.55 final score for him. Okay, here we go with the dismount. 2.5, kind of twists into the ground. Yeah, he could clean that up a bit. So 11.65 final score. Not what he wanted to do, starting off with a fall, and then it didn't fall apart, but it wasn't the cleanest afterwards. This here is Amari Sewell. Amari had shown some really good gymnastics so far today, and I am enjoying this floor set. 4.9 is going to be his start value, which is pretty big. You see it there with some big tumbling. That was actually his dismount, so his final score was a 13.85, the highest on the day for floor. This is Jackson Harrison. Jackson was the final gymnast on. Nice little bounding pass. Nice and clean. Everything is looking great. Oh, and then sits down on the dismount. He got an execution score of 8.0, which 8.0 would have been a 9. Would have been very, very good. It was a very clean routine, just that bobble there on the end. Okay, next thing we're going to do quickly is we're running out of record time. I don't think we got time for it, but let's jump over and see what we can get on P-bars. It's the final event for the East. This is Ethan Rio. Not bad. This is Nick Smiley. Starts off with doing a stutz 1 bar and falls off. Gets up, does a good Diamondov. Beautiful stutz. And he's got to be killing himself. He's got great support skills. But, you know, falls happen. They're part of the sport. And just got to do better the next meet. 2 falls. And in a 5-up 5 count competition, which are the scores I'm looking at, that counting 2 falls is a little rough, but this difficulty is very good. Starting off with big skills, ending with big dismount. That was Kellen Ryan with a 4.3 start value, the highest for the team, and an 8.85, really good execution, 13.15 final score. Alright, Andrew Hyde. Keeping it simple. Keeping it clean. Layout full, little step on the dismount. That was 11.9 final score. David Dortmund. Another pretty big set. 13.6 is his start value. And here we go. Dismounting with a double back. Pretty solid. 12.05 final score. Okay, last event. We're going to take a look at Pommel Horse. I think they only had one routine here, Dylan Hopmeyer. So here he is. Oh, does a Makulak. I like it. Scissor full. Does some travel work. And dismounts. Okay, hey, well, that was it. That was just a little recap of how things went down. Final scores. The West took it by quite a bit. A 386.95 for a 5-up-5 count against a 371.85. And this is Coach John Lucas signing off. See you guys.